Good morning, tubers of the RC Universe. Welcome to RC Heli Check UK. And what is now traditional form here in the UK, we have got storm knobhead going through. We have gusts of wind that are probably hitting 40 mile an hour at the moment. A bit for you guys in the States, but here in the UK, so yeah, it's not going to stop us though. We're still up here to do some work. We're going to be in the workshop. We're going to do some more work on the Airwolf. Hands here again, look, can't talk without my hands. Anyway, I'm going to get this camera to cover it. It's getting soaked. Right guys, this is what we are going to be doing today. I was not happy with the way the retracts were sat before because they were slightly raised up. So what I'm actually going to be doing today is I want these wheels, they were going to be sitting here somewhere, which is not, and I want them to be down there more. So what I'm actually doing, I've got to cut this piece off here that you can see marked so the tyre doesn't foul. And then I'm going to add 2 more bits of plywood at the back of here, which will then raise the back end of the retract up, making the wheel sit further down. So that's what I'm going to start doing today.
I wait for someone to save. I want to tell you something new. You drove us both into a wall. I drive away into the night, and I contemplate for a while. Don't you think for the people that testify back my stumbling sooner than this? Don't you think for the people that testify back my stumbling sooner than this? Don't you wish I would have been someone else? I want to feel your gap without making a mess at you. I want you to tell me something new. I want to tell you something new.
Right guys, I've done that modification now, and what I've actually done is I've added a small block to the back of where the undercarriage screws are going to be here and at the front. So instead of the wheels being up here the way that they were, they are now literally, I'd probably say about 3/8 of an inch, probably about 8-9 mil sticking out. So I'm going to be happy with that. Again, I'm going to fit oleos onto these when I finally get some, and I may have to modify this again, but for now it's got retracts. So I'm still not going to fit them in yet because obviously I want to do all that after the aircraft's been painted. So I've decided what I'm going to do as well for the tail planes. No, it hasn't broken, I've just unscrewed it. I'm going to vinyl wrap the tail planes and then lightly stand them down so I can paint over them. It saves going through all the hassle of waiting for fiberglass to cure and everything like that, and it was just as strong. So I'm going to do that bit next.
I wish you all the best I can, and I stop myself a while. I'm saying things I don't believe. The panic's rising up in you. Why won't you tell me something new? Don't you think for the people that testify back my stumbling sooner than this? Don't you think for the people that testify back my stumbling sooner than this?
got them vinyl wrapped now, and it's gone on pretty well. Yeah, green. I use green, and you saw me using a heat gun to get this vinyl on. It's basically quite pliable when you first put it on, but then when you put heat to it, it's not like solar film or normal vinyl. This, it's an industrial vinyl, but then when you apply heat to it and leave it to cool down, it ain't coming off. It ain't coming off at all. So that's that all sorted. I will be gluing these on, although they're held on with screws. I'm going to glue them on as well. But my dilemma now is the doghouse, because I made the whole mistake of cutting the front off to allow access to get the battery off. But shit, what I'm going to do now is, I think I'm just going to screw it on. So I'm going to put a block of wood here and a block of wood on there, and then I'm going to put 1/16 ply all the way around here so it keeps its shape, and then a block underneath there, and I'm literally going to hold the doghouse on with 4 screws, a little bit similar to how I do with the Long Ranger basically. So that's what I'm going to sort out next, I think. Right, here's the idea of the doghouse. You can see this is temporarily pegged in. That is a paper tape template, and then I'm going to use this plywood here, which is 1/32 ply. Cut the same shape out as this, and then, not using pegs, I've got some small grips at home. I'm going to soak it in hot water, let the wood soak into the wood, which will allow it to become flexible. And then, mounted on the helicopter as it is, I'm going to use these pins to hold it in place, these like strong clips that I've got, grip things. And then I'm going to leave it for 24 hours to dry. So once it's dry, I'll be able to then take it off, and it'll have a kind of shape similar to this, and it'll allow me then to epoxy it into place, and then that'll give basically a lip for this to sit on. And then I'll have 2 1/8 ply blocks here and on the other side opposite, and then one underneath here, and I'll just hold this bit on with basically like 3 screws. I'll hold the doghouse, not the doghouse, I'll hold the canopy on the Long Ranger with 4 screws, and it takes me literally 30 seconds to do them all up. So for the sake of like 15-20 seconds to do 3 screws up, this is the way that I'm going to do it, guys. It's bloody cold up here, and it's still blowing an arse, as you can see and hear. Good morning, guys. Welcome to day 2 of part 3 of the Airwolf. Storm knobhead is still gracing us at the moment across the UK. However, it is not as bad as what it has been. I'm up here today to have a little word of view with you about something that is going on. Now, here's a dilemma that I have. As all of you will know, Airwolf is a black and white helicopter. There are lots of manufacturers out there that produce the Airwolf fuselage, like Roban and Vario, etc, etc, etc. And as you all know, any of you that have got it, it is black and white. However, I discovered recently that the actual Airwolf helicopter itself is not black. It looks it, but it isn't. So everybody that's painted their Airwolves black and white, you're wrong. Now, this is the dilemma that I reach, because I've already bought the paints for this model, and as tradition is, everybody sees the Airwolf as a black and white aircraft, and I'm thinking about doing it black and white still myself. However, I'm a scale purist, and I try and keep scale detail and especially colour as accurate as possible. But to replicate this colour is going to be a logistical nightmare. So I will be sticking to the black, but for people in the future, for reference, if they want to build and paint an Airwolf helicopter, there is a chap called Richard Keppel, and he was the original model helicopter pilot for Airwolf, and he flew the model in the pilot series and also in season 4 of the Airwolf series. And it was him who announced that although people say that Airwolf is black, and they even refer it in the programme as being black, it is actually not. And I can't remember exactly what the colour is, but it's something like metallic tornado grey or something like that. But it is actually a very, very dark gunmetal grey. And it's kind of put that on me. I don't know what to do. If I do it dark metal grey, everyone's going to go, hey, it's wrong. But it's not, it's right. And like I say, I've already bought the paints for it to be black. So I'm going to go that way anyway, I think. I'm just going to do it black and white because everybody sees the Airwolf as a black and white model. Or airframe, I should say. So, but for future reference, if anybody wants to paint an Airwolf, actually look into this because, you know, if you want your Airwolf to be an accurate representation of the real one, it needs to be this gunmetal grey, this dark gunmetal grey colour, and it's not actually black. So, a little bit of an insight to you there. Right, as I mentioned to you yesterday, fellas and fallets, I have a situation with a doghouse, and I've decided what I'm going to do with much talking with one of the other club members. This here, as you can see, is not a paper bird. It is the template that I need to cut out of plywood. And what that is going to do is it will sit basically inside here, and it will follow the contour of the actual doghouse at the front here. And then once it is situated on the model, that will then basically go over the top of it. And I'm going to put 2 screws, one here, one on the other side, one up there and one there. That's 4 screws, not 2. I can't count. It's early in the morning. Get over it. So yeah, that's the only way I can do it. Now it could be quicker, it could be easier with magnets, but I can't be arsed with it. So I used 4 screws to put the canopy on the Long Ranger helicopter. So I'm just going to do it this way for quickness. It'll still allow me access to the actual battery compartment to get to the battery on the mechanics. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to stand all this down, get it all prepped up, cut the piece out that I need out of plywood, mix some epoxy up and plop it all on. So let's crack on. Right, once I finally got my epoxy mixing to work, right, don't look that much at the moment, but these clamps are now holding that plywood in place while this rapid epoxy, then once that's gone off, I'm then going to make with, where's it gone, where is it, moved, with these here, these smaller bits, which I shall cut in half, they'll be then glued to this bit here on either side to form a lip, and then again they'll be epoxied into place. Once the epoxy's gone off, then I'll get the old Dremel and I'll sand down so it's got a nice even edge all the way around, and then that way, oops, and then that way, oops, and then that way this will be able to sit on there. I might have to remove the clamps though, because it ain't going to work with them, is it? Anyway, so yeah, so we'll let that go off, and then once that's set, I'll do these two outer bits, glue them in place, and I'll come back to you guys when it's all done. Right guys, we have that is now glued. Yes, it needs tidying up, which I'll get out with the Dremel. And what I've done, I've added the other plywood pieces to this here, which will also be tidied up in a bit. And what goes on now is that now sits, get in, that now sits in there nice and tightly, and lines up here where I now need to drill a hole, put plywood. I put plywood underneath there and glued it on, right? So I just need to drill a hole there, and that will basically then allow me to put a screw in to hold it in place. But that's not going anywhere, look, it's solid. Worked really well, really well. So once it's all tidied up, and these bits here are tidied up, I think I'm still going to have to put, like, this one here is lined up with the doghouse, but for some reason this one here is sticking out and I can't see why. So I might just apply a little bit of heat there and help it bend around. If that's the case, then if that is like a heat, and I need to hold it with one screw because that ain't going nowhere. The bit there holds this bit in shape, and these tabs here stop it from coming out. Awesome, works really well. You may also notice an iconic part of the Airwolf is now on. I've put the old Uji flip on the, dropped it. I've put the old, what's it on the nose? Whatever it is. I ain't got a clue what that is meant to be. Maybe it's a radar or something. Hit me, let me know if you know. So yeah, that bit's now on as well. I can actually take the tape off there now because it's been on there for a good half an hour. There we go. Nice. So yeah, that's a lot of pressure taken off. Like I say, I'm going to get the heat gun and just help curve this around a little bit, then hopefully, you know, I mean this one's lined up really nicely, but that one is just sticking out about 1/16 of an inch, enough to annoy me. So I'm going to hit that with a bit of a heat gun, just bend it a little bit, and hopefully it will stay in place where I won't need to put any screws in here and here, just there. But yeah, if you can imagine that screwed in, going nowhere. So that's worked out really well. Anywho, I've also started sanding bits of the fuselage down while I was waiting for it to dry. I've got all the seam off here, the join seam, that's now all gone. And I am starting to get to the point where we are going to be painting it. I'm going to take the doghouse back off in a bit and turn it over and sand the seam down underneath here. It's not that bad, it just needs to be gone over with quite lightly, get rid of the seam, and then we're ready for painting, guys. We're going to get some colour on it finally, which is the best bit, because then it becomes alive. Still bloody loggerheads regarding this dark gunmetal grey colour it's meant to be though, instead of black. But anyway, I'm going to do it black because I've got the paint. So, right, get this sorted out, do a bit more sanding, and then it is time for painting. Right, there we go. Just quickly before I start sanding the rest of the fuselage down ready for paint, I've trimmed the tabs down on the sides of the actual piece that's removable, and the tab there where it sits, and I've got the screw in, and as you can see it is not going to go anywhere. So that's worked really well, I'm happy with that. I might be able to tidy up the gap that we've got here. There's a bit of a gap there around about 1/16 of a millimetre. I might be able to tidy that up a bit more, I think. But apart from that, it's yeah, it's good. So let's start sanding the rest of the fuselage down and get ready for painting, shall we? That's what everybody's waiting for. I know that's what I'm waiting for anyway. Right guys, we have got everything done, ready now to paint. Now the thing is, these guns, I'm not really happy with, okay? Don't get me wrong, they're alright. But I think I can do better than this with carbon fibre tubes and aluminium tubes that I've got at home. And probably make better looking guns and probably better fixing mounts as well to put on there. So I may keep these. I'm painting them again separately like I said I was going to do anyway, but I may keep these as they are, but do something with the guns and make some new guns, make them look a bit better, and be able to fix them on. So, but it's not going to stop me what I'm doing now. The exhausts as well, a lot of people on show helicopters, they make them a nice shiny chrome and whatnot, but in reality these are never chrome. They are a shiny polished metal to a degree, but you've got burns and like a lot of staining from exhaust residue and whatnot. Now because these are carbon fibre, you've got the old finish inside it. So what I'll do with these after the main part is done, this will be like finishing detail, is I'll fill all these bits in that you'll see to make it all nice and smooth. They're going to be spray painted black inside for exhaust burns, and then at some point on probably another video, or maybe this video, depends on how long it takes, I'll show you how I do the exhaust burns on exhaust pipes. We've got the doghouse sorted now, we've got the way that we're going to fix that. That is going to be, you know, that's going to work really well, as we've already seen that works, so that's good, that's happy. I've sealed the edges of these plywood bits here and sanded them down nice and smooth. So even though this film won't come off, not without, well it'll come off, but you have to really try hard and it'll just rip. But even though this film won't come off, I've sanded them down. I've sealed the edges with super glue, sanded them all nice and smooth, so that sealed the edges as well. It'll stop them from peeling off. They're all ready to go. Everything is now sanded with 1200 grit sandpaper or sanding pad that I use. Here's one I made earlier. And we're basically ready for paint. So what I'm going to be doing to start off with, it's pretty dark outside now and it's bloody cold, but I've put the warmth on just to try and warm the place up a bit. I'm going to spray the inside of the fuselage with my black that I'm going to use, and I have decided I'm going to go black and white because hey, everybody else's is black and white, even though it's not supposed to be black and white, it's supposed to be dark gunmetal grey. But anyway, spray the inside black, spray the undercarriage mounting black and whatnot, because even with the windows on you'll see stuff like that, but if it's all black it'll be easier. When you put the windows on you won't see so much inside. Do all this inside black. I'm going to spray the inside of this and that black, and I'll probably do the outside at the same time because there's no white on these at all. And then once the black's gone off on there, I'm going to roughly paint white all over the bits that need to be white on the aircraft, but I'm not going to do it masked off. I'm just going to spray it all white on the bottom, and then once that's all done I can then mask it off once it's completely dry, which will probably be tomorrow. Mask it all off when it's completely dry, and then I can spray the black on, and then we'll have got some colour in the model. I need to nip to the local hobby store and get some more clear lacquer because I haven't got enough to clear it with. But just for your information, anybody else that's going to do something like this bit on the nose here, even though it's black or gunmetal grey, the rest of the helicopter is shiny, but this bit stays a semi-matte colour. You don't spray this clear because this is designed to be like a anti-glare bit on the nose, so when the pilots are flying the aircraft the sun doesn't reflect and go in their eyes and I can't see crash. So that bit will be doing the same colour, but when it comes to clearing it, this will all be masked off, and then I'll be spraying the clear with that masked off. That way then when I peel off the masking, once the clear has been put on and sealed it to make it look nice and shiny and polished, this bit will stay dull like it's supposed to, like a semi-matte colour. So that's the plan. I'm waiting for the temperature to come up in here a little bit, because the last thing I want to do is have it cold in here because it'll help affect the paint going off. So I'll get a bit of heat in here like I'm doing at the moment, it'll help the paint cure. It doesn't take long to dry. I'm using the usual Montana gold paints that I always use when it comes to painting models, and it's usually dry within about 10 minutes. I've got my heat gun on, which will also help you just got to be careful with the heat gun. If you come too close, it distorts the fiberglass. So it'll be just like a light wafting of heat that I'll put over the paint to help it cure quicker. So let's get on with it, shall we? How cool does that look? Like a goldy, blacky colour. Weird, isn't it? Anyway, that's just the inside, all painted black now. It's just so that it makes it look a lot easier when you're looking through the windows and whatnot. It'll look black inside. I think if I left it green, even though like you can see here where I've gone over it, this is the green outside that hasn't had any black on it yet. That is kind of like what you'd see on the inside. Look a bronzy colour, isn't it? It's hard to describe what colour that is looking at it on camera. But anyway, that looks really, really good. So that's all the interior cleared black now, done black I should say. And then over here drying, we've got the doghouse that I've done. I've done both sides, and already that effect of having the aluminium grill stands out so much better. Now it's had the coat of paint. There is supposed to be mesh on the sides of here, but I'm opting to leave those because it's just easier to grab hold of when it comes to taking that off. Just put my fingers in there and pull it out basically. So I'm not going to bother putting the mesh inside this bit here. I'm just going to leave those blank. Plus it'll out with cooling. I mean, it's going to get plenty of cooling anyway with the grill being the way that it is. So yeah, let's carry on. Man, this Airwolf is now coming to life. It's amazing what a little bit of colour can do. Right, got all the white done on the bits that I needed to do. The base of the aircraft is coated, and I've come round and only covered the bits where the white's going to go to. There's no point in going any further. But the white at the front, it's kind of like comes from here and around, and then up here, and then it's like level across here and across here, and then it comes up from the back to here and then across the tail. So that's gone on really nicely. Might need to give it another coat, which I might do before I go, because you can see a little bit of like the underside with it being black inside as well. Coated the bottom half of the fin and the two side fins as well, and I've coated the bottom of the tail cone. But the doghouse, man, the colour on this looks awesome. This black has gone on here really, really well. And these doghouses, parts of these doghouses look absolutely epic. It is really, really nice. And look at the mesh. Look at that. I mean, that is awesome. Really like how that's gone on. I mean, I've only been doing these, what, 20 minutes and they're already dry. Even though they're touch dry, I wouldn't want to risk masking the white off and spraying the black on tonight, because it may be touch dry, but it's probably still too tacky. So if I peel the tape off that I'm using to mask it with, it's going to pull the paint off with it. So I'm going to give this another coat off camera, just to make sure that everywhere is covered properly and we can't see anything underneath. and then I'm going to call it quits tonight, and then I'll come back up here again tomorrow where this will have been cured overnight, and then I can mask it all off and put the black on. Then we are going to have an Airwolf. It is going to look awesome, guys. I am really looking forward to this. Another good reason to keep your boxes as well, by the way, guys. This, you could just see what I was doing. It holds in most of the spray. I had the door open to let the worst out, but it stopped overspray going everywhere in the workshop. The only bit I've got is a little bit on the floor there, but because the floor being dusty, that'll just brush straight up. So whenever you've got a box, guys, for something like this, keep it for when you do your painting, because you'll be surprised how much overspray it can stop from spreading in your workshop. But obviously, as I did, have your door open, because it gives you air, and air is what you need to breathe. So anyway, that'll do for tonight, guys. Like I say, I'll come back and I'll give it its black coat tomorrow. So I'll see you in the morning. Good morning, guys. Welcome to day 3 of part 3 of the Airwolf helicopter. Storm knobhead is still battering us, and although we've got lovely clear blue skies, it's gusting probably around about 40 miles an hour at the moment, maybe a little bit less, but Rich is trying to fly his helicopter and struggling with it. So anyway, let's carry on, shall we, and see where we left off from yesterday. Right, so last night we left off where we painted the bottom of the Airwolf and we put some of the black on, yada yada yada. But what I want to do today is I want to change these guns, because I'm not happy with the way that they look. I think I can do a better job than that. So I'm going to get some carbon rod that I've got and various other bits and pieces, and I'm going to make these guns look a bit better, I think. And then I'm going to do these exhausts. I'm going to show you what I do to make them look quite realistic before I glue them on. So crack on. Right, guys, off camera I've been doing some little modifications for the way the guns look and whatnot, and I've also been rubbing this down and getting all the overspray off from the white, and I'm just gonna basically wipe it all down now with a damp cloth, as you can see I'm doing, and then we're going to start hitting it with the colour that makes it what it is, black. Well, actually it should be gunmetal grey, but that's a different story. So yeah, we'll start putting the black on once I've mashed it all off. But I've got a feeling it's going to take me a hell of a time to mask all this off. I mean, I found that the Long Ranger, for example, that took quite a while to mask off. This has got so many bumps and divots, and there's certain areas where the white and the black meet and all that kind of stuff. It's going to take me a while, I think, to mask all this off. So once I get this dust off it, then we'll be able to start hitting it with some colour. go, guys. I hate masking. I got a nasty suspicion that some of this white paint's going to peel off when I come to take it off, so I need to try and get this done as quickly as possible. The least time the masking tape is on, the better, the more chance I've got of not peeling it off. But I really hope that that doesn't happen, because it's going to be an absolute nightmare to sort it out. Anyway, the quicker I get it done, like I say, the quicker I can get the tape off. Hopefully it won't. So, get the old rattle can shook. Can't believe I just did that. Get it in the box because it's windy as hell outside. Do what I did last night, and let's start getting this thing with some paint on it. Wow, I'm not gonna lie, guys, but that looks awesome. And look at the colour in the sun. See what colour it is, guys? Dark gunmetal grey. Not black, dark gunmetal grey. But out the sunlight it looks black. And I can see now why people used to say that it was black and white, but it is actually dark gunmetal grey. That, I don't know if the cameras pick up the pigment, but god damn does it look good. Right, let's get all the fins and shit done now. There we go. That is looking slick, guys. Right, it's touch dry, so I'm kind of hoping now that I can take the masking off. I've got all the other bits here that you just saw me doing time lapse, mate. All the fins, the guns and whatnot, they've all been done now. So it's time to peel it all off and hope that I've peeled none of the white off. Guys, we have an Airwolf. Look at that. Interesting though, right? Look at the difference in the paint inside compared to what it's like outside in the sun. This is like an anthracite grey. Anthracite grey, I don't know where that's come from. This is an anthracite, I can't even get it out now. This is an anthracite grey. It's not quite black, it's more like a chalk board black, that kind of thing, but it does give the model the impression in daylight when the sun is on it being dark grey, which is what the original Airwolf was, unbeknown to quite a few people. But you can see why people said it was black and white, because under certain light it does look black and white, but damn does it look good. I mean, really good. I don't know about you guys, but I'm chuffed to bits with that. I really am stoked. I think now what I need to do, I might leave it overnight because I need to lacquer it and wet sand it and lacquer it and whatnot, and I think it'll probably be better to wet sand it after being left overnight. But while we are here, I'm going to do what I said on the exhaust. I'm not so bothered about the guns at the moment, but I'm going to do what I said on the exhaust and show you how I weathered all that, and then maybe get them installed in, because I'd like to get them coated in a lacquer once installed as well, to protect and seal all the painting. There's a couple of places that I've got to touch up. Stuff like this don't worry about, because this needs to be like it's like an olive drab kind of green, metallic interior green. There's a couple of places where I need to touch up where the white did peel off when I peeled the masking off, which is really annoying. You can just see there, look, can you see underneath there? So just need to mask the black off and just go over these bits here on the edges, but that is it. I mean, I could leave them on and say that it's paint chip from the helicopter landing. You know, the full size one had weathering on it, the full size one had chip paint, but perfectionist. So let's put it at one side and then we'll start doing the exhaust. Time's getting on. I don't think I'm going to get the lacquer on. We're probably going to have to go into a fourth day on this. So I'm going to sit here now, like I say, let the paint go off overnight, and then I can do the old wet sanding and smoothing it all off and then lacquering it all, hopefully. So let's do these exhausts, shall we? Good morning, guys. We are on day 4 of part 3, and we left off last night with colour on the Airwolf. Did a couple of things at home. I gave the exhaust a coat of chrome, well, silver, aluminium, and but I've got this which I need to use on these to burn them all up, because obviously these are not going to be nice and shiny, they're going to be all burnt and tarnished. We have got some shiny, look at that, how nice does that look? Oh, anywho, right, we're going to do these exhausts, and then we're going to be looking at the guns and putting a bit of scale scratch built detail on there, because I didn't like just 3 tubes because it looked ridiculous. And then hopefully, guys, we can get this finished, lacquered and mechanics fitted and ready to go. Fingers crossed, eh? Let's crack on. Right, you see the effect that I've done on there, guys. Where it's still silver around here, that's the bit that's going to go inside the actual fuselage itself, but you can see the difference between one and the other, how it's tarnished. And that's what you need to do. If you leave it all chrome, then it looks stupid, because they're going to get burnt, and your exhaust burn turns metals like this silver and blue, and that's what you just see me do. So that's that one done. I'll crack on now with the other. There we go, guys, 2 burnt exhausts. You know, you got to remember that these have got a lot of heat going through. I got a friend. You got to remember there's a lot of heat going through these, so they're going to tarnish, but you don't have to be immaculate with them. You know, they burn and they can burn in any way. So like I say, just go to town with it. And if you want to know what it is that I actually use, it's Tamiya Weathering Master, burnt blue, burnt red and oil stain. I've not done the oil stains inside there yet. I'll just give it a quick dark wash to see if that would work, but I shall use the dark oil stain as well to go inside, to burn the inside up. But that's good stuff. I mean, it takes a bit of getting used to, and you can see the method that I used there to get it how I wanted to, but works brilliant, guys. Works really well. And there you can see, guys, what I've done. This one on this side, I've done it with a burnt oil stain, and that one on that side is not touched yet. You can see the difference. It's not too harsh, not too black. It looks literally like an exhaust stain. So you can use all three colours to get your exhaust looking really good. Okay guys, made an executive decision after putting the exhausts on and whatnot, and assessed that what is still going to be done. There's a loads to do on this, and by the time I finish this video, it's going to be about 2.5 hours long. So I reckon I'm going to call it quits there on this one, and we're going to have to go into a part 4. So I hope that you're enjoying the video, guys. And I've got the retracts to fit, I've got the guns to finish making, I've got more paint to add onto here, I've got to lacquer it all, I've got to get the undercarriage fitted, the mechanics all fitted, and that's all going to be in the next video, which will hopefully be the last video, and then we'll be able to go and fly it. So thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate your support. It really helps if you like and subscribe and notifications, ding-a-ling, and so yeah, but keep your eyes out, guys. The next video is going to be in a couple of days. Take care, guys. See you soon.